Hello, hello, hello. How are you all doing? Thank you for stopping by. Today, I'm going to continue where I left off from the last video, which is my life before the communists came in 1975. But before I get to that, I'm going to share with you guys with a few photos that my mom and dad left behind. So right here you see is my parent picture. I think the black and white picture is the one that they first got married back probably in 1960 something, before 1964. And then the one on the right is like when we first got here in the United States in 1979. And then this one is my mom family side. The top one is my grandma, and the guy in the picture is my uncle, the youngest one in the family. Of course, my grandma had 3 daughters, which is my aunt, which is on the right, is the oldest, and then my mom is, which is on the left picture with 2 people in it. My younger aunt is the one that sit lower than my mom. So yeah, they like I said before in my other video, in 1954, all 3 sisters left their mom, which my grandma and the uncle behind in North Vietnam and immigrated to the South side. So they 1954 they separated, and then they didn't meet each other until like 1975 after the country united. Yeah, this picture is the one. The top picture is the very last picture that my mom went back to Vietnam after almost 30 something years. And remember the younger sister? Yeah. Boy, they get older, don't they? And then after my mom passed away in 2017, she left behind a bunch of pictures, a little small album. And somehow she taped all these young pictures with her most current picture. I believe that's the youngest picture she had when she must move into the South. And this one's, her hairdo a little bit, change a little bit. That one, a little bit different. In this picture, yeah, you can see that my half-sister is standing, holding my mom. I think I told you that she's half French and half Vietnamese. That the guy left mom behind, pregnant with her. Didn't want to, because his mom didn't want to take my mom back to France with him. This one is a picture of both my dad side. The reason I showed 2 pictures is if you see the older one, that's the older wife, and then the one on the right, the younger wife. So in Vietnam culture, you know, when a woman married, they were supposed to give the husband, you know, a son offering. But my older grandma was only have 3 girls, so she ended up go look for a second wife for my grandpa, which is the one on the right, and she ended up give him 3 sons. So they have total 6 children, 3 daughters and 3 sons. Can you guys guess who that is? That's me. I think this picture is say I'm 6 months old. Bunch of other pictures that back then he's kind of like an amateur photographer, so he loved taking pictures. Of course, probably because I'm the only child he has, so He took a lot of pictures. Remember when I told you that he took me to his workplace with the American company on the scooter? Yeah, you can see that Vespa right there. He took me to work like that, standing in the Vespa like that. Crazy, huh? Yeah, this one is a little more picture of mom and me. Yes, and you can see in the picture, she's very protective of me. Remember I told you that she take me and she walk with me to school every day for two kilometers every day. So doing like almost 8 kilometers a day of walking, back and forth, back and forth. The bottom picture is, you can see that car. Remember I told you that when he make a lot of money and mom was buying ounces of gold? And then when dad decided he want a car, right? Guess how much he paid for that car? 100 ounces of gold worth of it. This me kind of like in my maybe 10, 11 years old. And you can see the middle picture where my half sister in the background there behind the little branches with flower. I think the bottom picture on the left is when we go vacation in one of those called Vũng Tàu. All right, let's get back to me talking about what happened in 1975. So let me roll back about 3 days, before April 30th, 1975. So on the 27th of April of 1975, cause I live in Saigon, which very close to the American embassy, right? So I don't know if you all ever watch one of those documentary movie that showed how the American embassy evacuated. Well, all these helicopters keep flying over my neighborhood for like I think between the afternoon until like midnight. They keep flying these helicopters like crazy. And back then I didn't know where it was. But they will evacuate all the employees in the embassy away, going out to the ship that waiting them, outside in the sea. So during that night, 27, 28, 29. So in Saigon, there's a lot of American civilian work there. So they stay there. So they stay in nice houses. You can tell, if they're American or not because they live in nice little villa. We call it villa because they have high wall, big gate, big metal gate, so you know who they are. But because they are everybody evacuated, and then I guess the neighbor know that they gone, right? Guess what everybody that in the neighborhood, the poor neighborhood would do? They broke into the house and go looting. I mean, back then we didn't know what they were doing at night. It's like in the middle of the night and people out. Normally, in Vietnam, they have curfew hour, which is like after 11 p.m., nobody's supposed to be on the street. Only the military and the police is on the street. All of a sudden, but these people are running and looting these houses and moving quietly through the street. And back then, my dad, he didn't know it. He was scared. But in Vietnam, you see, they have these, each street, they have their own little group of people that the government issued them, M16, just to guard in front of the street, right? Well, he have some M16 round, but they, before, all this, they already took all the gun away from these people. So my dad only have a few rounds of the M16. And he was telling me, like, he's teaching me, like, here's a plier, you're gonna hold a plier, and get the plier, hold under the bullet, and if somebody try to break the door down, I'm gonna hit the bullet so that way it will shoot them. And now I think back like, man, that's insane. That's crazy. We could have hurt ourselves badly if we did that. But it was kind of funny. So on the morning of 29th. I mean, not all the comos, people start looting. Now that everybody, really don't care. Because everybody, all the government, all the police, they all just chaos. Nobody care anyone. The government just like falling down. The South government just giving up. They don't nobody give a crap. They just all go back to their home. So all the people go looting all these American houses. I didn't know back then. I was young, so I was only 11 years old. So I just follow along, see what's going on, and some of these houses like 3-story high, right? So the people went upstairs, take stuff. Some of the big desks, and I don't know. People are crazy. Like 1 or 2 person can never move those big desks down the stair, and then one of the desks just got stuck in the stairwell. And then you can see people like start throwing stuff out the window, down to the floor, and I mean it's crazy. Like, so I stand there and I think for a moment, like, man, this is crazy. I could get hurt. So I didn't take anything. I just went back home. So back then I told you, like on the 30th, that's when my dad and my mom and me tried to get out by getting to the boat that were waiting for us, but we never made it. So we weren't able to get out on the morning of 30th of April. After we got stuck on that boat that could not get out to the sea. So my parents and I decided we're gonna go home. So on the way home, as we driving down the street, we saw a lot of army clothing that people just strip off, gun, all kind of gun, laying on the sides of the street. So we all just go home and see what happened. There's a lot of uncertainty back then, we don't, because back then they say that the Viet Cong, which is the Northern Army, is very brutal, they ruthless, they're gonna kill you, all that stuff. Everybody's in fear. So everybody kind of pretty much stay in their home, keep it to themselves and wait to see what happened, what the new government gonna do. And that's will be a new interesting life that I have after the communists come in. I will catch you later on the next video, which I will talk about that. Well, I thank you for listening. I appreciate all 30 of my subscribers. Have a nice day, and I see you then. Bye.